Hi, and thank you for joining us. My name is Diane Dominguez, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Service at Frazier. And I am joined today by Peter Gaffredo, our Executive Vice President, and Richard Koistra, our Director of the AXIS² product line. We are excited to be doing an update for the next few minutes around the AXIS² product line, which we launched out to market in early 2025. AXIS² was a partnership that Frazier did together with Dambach, a equipment supplier based out of Germany, that both Frazier and Dambach work very closely within our ASRS community and with our integrator partners that we share. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about where we're at, what we've learned, the things that we're investing in to bring this product out to the market. So with that being said, Pete,
thank you for
joining.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
It's been a great ride. We had a big launch, as you said, in March of 25 at ProMat with our AXIS² product, a collaboration effort with Dambach Lager Systems, which is a premier equipment supplier to the ASRS market, really internationally. A little story on how we got together. In March of 2024, Frazier went to LogiMat in Stuttgart. So it's a big material handling show, really in effort to find suppliers who are making this four-way shuttle. And we really found a lot of them and thought, wow, it's going to be challenging for us. Frazier's business model is to put racking systems under everybody's automation. And when we thought of these shuttles, we thought, wow, there's a lot of variety out there. And we went looking for a strategic alignment. And we interviewed several companies during that week, and we stumbled upon Dambach and sat down and had ourselves a discussion and the possibility around creating a product line that would interface the shuttle being perfectly interfaced and aligned with the racking, and the racking interface with the shuttle in an effort to deliver a cost-effective product to the market. And we went with lightning speed to bring the product launch to March of 25. So everything was really done within 6 months. And it's been quite a ride since. This product, this solution, this four-way shuttle, is something that we're still trying to figure out exactly where its niche is within the market. Is it a greenfield play, a brownfield play, a conversion play? Meaning, are they looking to take advantage of density, take advantage of selectivity? Are we looking to take people off of equipment, reduce equipment? All these things are still really being figured out and developed. And as these early projects we're getting ready to launch really are in multiple market segments. We have a nice 1,000 pallet position project going into Georgia in May of this year. We have an 11,000 pallet position project for non-perishable consumer goods going into the Mid-Atlantic region in July. And in both cases there, they found, in one case, they found a corner of the warehouse to put the solution. And in the other one, it's part of an overall material handling solution that we're working with one of the larger integrators in the market. And that's a key part of this, is that our model with this was to have an offering, a strategic alignment with Dambach, but that we have an offering to the integrator market, the partnerships we have with so many of these integrators. And they have solutions that range from AGV, AMRs, unit load, stacker crane, deep lanes, double deeps, case handling, different types of unit load. This is another arrow in their quiver, another solution to an overall material handling supply. Mm-hmm. And that was what was important, was that we're selling this through the integrators. We're offering this to the integration market, and we're starting to see some traction there. To get ourselves really aligned there, we thought we needed some help. So we went out and found a veteran in the marketplace who happened to be available, Mr. Richard Koistra. And we said, we really need someone to run this product line. Two behemoths like Frazier and Dambach in the material handling space really came together, and it made a lot of noise. We expected it to. Mm-hmm. We thought we really need some representation who's going to be out there, but we want somebody who's a vet, who knows his way around solutions. Because we're agnostic. We want you to just buy. You can buy whatever solution is out there, and we offer them all. So we found a gentleman like Richard, and why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Richard? How did we go about getting our hands on you?
Thank you, Peter. The time that I got the phone call from the CEO of Frazier asking me if I would be interested in joining the company to launch this new product line, I did some industry research and found that Frazier being the number one rack supplier in North America, with Dambach being one of the number one ASRS companies in the world, working with their software company, IFD, out of Germany. Those three legs to the stool were very, very important to me to come to the company, as those are the major ingredients to have a successful system to be implemented.
Yeah, that's a great point, because we looked at that when we went on our search for this alignment, if you will. We settled on Dambach because they were such a trusted equipment supplier with a great name and a great backing and a great history. But they also provided that important leg of the stool, as you mentioned, that software.
So Peter, and so the big piece for me was that all of those pieces of the puzzle were done together in harmony, where in the past, in working with some major companies in the automation space, was that you would come up with a piece of equipment and then we'd have to write the software on the fly. And then as we're going to implement a project, then we'd have to get a rack supplier involved, have to give them what we believed were the specifications, and then try to make sure that everything was going to go smoothly when we would go to do the installation.
Yeah, exactly what we wanted to avoid with having a rack supply to all these different shuttles. Was wondering what do they specifically need to make their shuttle operate efficiently, and really what we avoided here.
And then on top of that, once we started working more with Dambach, finding out the details of their four-way shuttle, and it wasn't just a four-way shuttle that was built from scratch. It was the basis of their four-way shuttle is they've taken the thousands of units that what they've got deployed in their two-way shuttle, used that as the foundation in order to be able to develop their four-way shuttle. And so that to me is that we're not just starting everything from scratch.
And also, Richard, with your experience and expertise with the integrators and your history in working on the integration automation side, what's your feeling in terms of that compelling message that Frazier offers with the integrators that we work with today across the board, many of which, as you know, are not only located here in the US, but many of them could be HQ'd out of Europe or even Asia. So I'm kind of curious to get your take on that.
Well, that's a great question, Diane. And I firmly believe that most of the integrators that are out there in the space, they want to be able to deal with a very strong rack company, and they want to deal with a very strong supplier for the automation piece. The integrator will be able to supply a portion of whether it's the WMS or the WES, and they want the traffic management and maybe some of the WCS to be done by the equipment supplier, and they can do the rest of it.
Right.
And then that way, when they're dealing with two very strong companies, they're not worried about whether or not this is going to be our first or second and one and done scenarios.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's why our ASRS community is so important for this product line as well, and working closely with our integrators, right? As part of the overall solution and that stool and the success.
It is. And for me, the four-way AXIS product line is another evolution in the whole ASRS business segment. And we're seeing many different opportunities and solutions and applications in regards to what I never even thought of before we started. And now we're starting to see, wow, there's a lot of there's a lot of pieces, there's a lot of places where this can actually fit.
Yeah, that was where we talked about that niche earlier in the conversation. We're really unpacking that now. And to Richard's point, we've seen dozens at this point since our launch in ProMat in March of options that we thought, oh, gee, that's an idea. We didn't think that it fit for that particular market. So it's really been something to try to wrap our head around all these different opportunities and then deploy it in the right way, because it's an attractive technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a rage at this point, and we're not afraid to I don't want to say necessarily talk a customer out of it, but we want to put them into the right solution, whether it's traditional racking solutions with pallet racks or glide-ins or drive-ins or our 1D shuttle, our pallet mole. And, whether it's a stacker crane deep lane or a double deep, it's got to be the right solution. We're not forcing the 4-way shuttle. It's just an offering. But what we are finding is that it works for a lot of different solutions.
But what we've also found, Peter and Diane, is that for the first several months, we had a lot of the integrators and a lot of the clients, they were saying, well, we'd like to go see one. We want to go see one. Mm-hmm. And so we're now starting in the next few weeks, our first installation, as you mentioned, in Georgia, Peter, and then here in the Mid-Atlantic. And once we get to show them here locally in North America, we firmly believe that that's going to be our launch. That's going to be the next big launching pad for people to be able to see it here live in North America.
Awesome. If I recall correctly, aside from investing in Richard joining us too, Richard also came to the table, and in a true partnership and collaborative effort, you even had a colleague in the industry that you shared out with our partner, right? A gentleman, if I'm not mistaken, Mohan?
Yeah, Mohan Ramankutty, yes. Someone who I personally worked with in one of my previous employers. And really, really enjoyed him. And in one of our discussions with the senior executive team from Dambach, they were saying that they were missing someone with Mohan's skills.
And that's been important. The staffing, we recognize that we would be able to use, both our companies would be able to use a lot of our existing employees to sort of move into this product line. But it's become so robust that we've really been on a search for dedicated resources, whether that's engineering or project management. It's been that robust. The demand's been that robust so far.
No, and it's awesome to see that when we know that we launch it, we learn, we listen, and then we're also investing, whether it's in more equipment or technology or the people talent side, which is, I think everyone could appreciate, gets a bit tricky these days. Yeah. Awesome. And then in April, we have Modex in Atlanta.
Correct.
So
we're looking forward to being in Atlanta. So at Modex in Atlanta, we're Frazier and Dambach are both going to be having our own booths, and we're going to have a sample of the AXIS there that's going to be working, and we're going to be able to see that live. And we're looking forward to hosting many clients, and we'd ask you to come by either the Dambach booth or the Frazier booth.
Thank you for tuning in today, everybody. Please definitely check out our website at frazier.com and like us across our social media platforms as well. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.